What if your backyard could feed you, sustain wildlife, and help the planet all at once? Imagine a space that not only adds beauty to your home, but also contributes positively to the environment. Welcome to the concept of forest gardening, a harmony of nature and nourishment, a sustainable, productive, and eco-friendly alternative to traditional farming and gardening methods. So, are you ready for a journey into greener living? Join us as we dive into the world of forest gardening, the sustainable solution hiding in plain sight. Forest gardening, a concept as old as nature itself, yet a solution for our future. Imagine a garden that, instead of neat rows of single crops, is a multi-layered, thriving ecosystem. This is the essence of forest gardening, a method of gardening that seeks to mimic natural ecosystems. The concept of forest gardening dates back thousands of years, with indigenous tribes in tropical regions cultivating food forests to sustain their communities. Fast forward to the present day, and this age-old practice is finding new relevance amidst our pressing environmental challenges. At its core, a forest garden imitates the structure and function of a young woodland, the most productive and resilient type of natural ecosystem. This is achieved by designing and planting a garden with multiple layers, each with a distinct purpose. Picture this: towering fruit and nut trees form the top layer, providing shade and habitat for birds. Below, smaller fruit and nut trees thrive, followed by a layer of shrubs bearing berries and edible leaves. The ground layer is covered in edible herbs, while the vertical layer is adorned with climbers and vines. Root crops form the underground layer, and the final layer, the mycelial network, is a web of beneficial fungi that connect and nourish the plants. Unlike conventional gardening, which often relies on annual plants, forest gardening primarily uses perennials. These are plants that live for several years, requiring less maintenance and offering harvest season after season. This perennial focus not only reduces labor and resource inputs, but also contributes to soil health and carbon sequestration. In essence, a forest garden is designed to be self-sustaining. The multi-layered structure maximizes space and light utilization, while the diversity of plants promotes a balanced ecosystem, reducing the need for external inputs like pesticides. The beauty of forest gardening lies in its adaptability. It can be applied on any scale, from a small urban backyard to a large rural plot. It can accommodate a wide range of climates, from the tropics to temperate regions, with plant species chosen to suit local conditions. Moreover, forest gardening is not just about growing food. It's about fostering biodiversity, enhancing ecosystem services, and reconnecting with nature. It's about learning to work with nature rather than against it, to create abundant, resilient, and beautiful landscapes that provide for our needs. Forest gardening, a testament to the power of nature and our ability to work with it. This practice combines the wisdom of the past with the needs of the future, offering a model of sustainable agriculture that is not just productive, but regenerative. Forest gardening is more than a method. It's a mindset, a way of seeing and interacting with the world that recognizes the inherent value and intelligence of nature. In the following segments, we will delve deeper into the benefits of forest gardening and how you can create your own forest garden. So stay tuned and let's embark on this journey together. Forest gardening, a testament to the power of nature and our ability to work with it. Opening. It's not just about growing food, it's about cultivating a healthier planet. Forest gardening, my friends, is not just another trend in the gardening world. It's a philosophy, a lifestyle, and an approach to agriculture that is as old as nature itself. It's about creating a self-sustaining ecosystem that not only benefits us humans, but also the countless other creatures that share our world. Let's delve into the myriad benefits of forest gardening. First and foremost, forest gardening promotes biodiversity, a term that refers to the variety of life in a particular habitat or ecosystem. Imagine a forest garden as a thriving metropolis, teeming with life. From the towering canopy trees to the low-lying ground cover, each plant plays a part in this bustling city of green. They provide food and shelter for a host of insects, birds, and small mammals, creating a dynamic living ecosystem right in your backyard. Now imagine if every garden in your neighborhood, your city, or even the world was a forest garden. We'd see a global revival of biodiversity, a renaissance of life. As renowned ecologist Dr. Jane Goodall says, the more diverse the life in our forests, the greater the possibility for adaptations to new conditions, the greater the stability of the planet. Secondly, forest gardening enhances food security. In a world where over 700 million people suffer from hunger, the ability to grow a diverse array of nutritious food on a small plot of land is nothing short of revolutionary. Unlike traditional agriculture, which often focuses on a single crop, forest gardening encourages the cultivation of a wide variety of edible plants. You'll find fruits, nuts, vegetables, herbs, and even edible flowers, providing a year-round supply of fresh, organic produce right at your doorstep. Moreover, forest gardens are remarkably resilient to climate change. Traditional agriculture is highly susceptible to extreme weather events, but forest gardens, with their multiple layers and diverse plant species, are far more robust. They can withstand droughts, floods, and pests far better than a field of a single crop. As climate change continues to pose unpredictable challenges, the resilience of forest gardens makes them an appealing and sensible choice for future-proofing our food supply. But the benefits of forest gardening don't stop there. They also contribute to soil health and water conservation. The multi-layered structure of a forest garden helps prevent soil erosion, improve soil fertility, and promote healthy water cycles. Forest gardens are like a sponge, absorbing and holding on to water, reducing runoff and the need for irrigation. They also sequester carbon, helping to combat climate change. And let's not forget the immense satisfaction and joy that comes from tending to a forest garden. There's a certain magic in watching a seed sprout into a sapling grow into a tree, and a tree bear fruit. It's a tangible connection to the cycle of life, a daily reminder of our interdependence with nature. In the words of renowned permaculture expert Bill Mollison, permaculture is a philosophy of working with, rather than against nature, of protracted and thoughtful observation rather than protracted and thoughtless labor, and of looking at plants and animals in all their functions rather than treating any area as a single product system. Forest gardening embodies this philosophy perfectly, so there you have it. Forest gardening is a powerful tool for biodiversity, food security, climate resilience, soil health, water conservation, and personal fulfillment. It's a testament to the power of working with nature rather than against it. The benefits are as diverse as the plants that make up a forest garden. Closing. Forest gardens, where every plant, every creature, and every gardener plays a part in nurturing our world. It's time to roll up our sleeves and get our hands in the soil. Creating a forest garden is a rewarding journey that involves careful planning, planting, and maintaining. The goal is to establish a self-sustaining, edible ecosystem that mimics the natural world, providing food for us and a haven for wildlife. Step 1. Planning. Don't rush into planting. First, you need to observe and understand your space. Consider the sunlight, wind direction, slope of the land, and soil type. All these factors will influence which plants will thrive and where they should be placed. Just as in nature, your forest garden will have different layers. The canopy layer consists of tall fruit and nut trees. Below them, you'll have smaller trees and shrubs, often bearing berries. The herbaceous layer includes culinary herbs and leafy greens. The ground layer is home to edible ground covers and root crops. And finally, the vine layer consists of climbers like beans and grapes, winding their way up the taller plants. Planting these layers is like painting a living portrait, where each plant has its role and contributes to the overall harmony of the garden. Step 2. Choosing the right plants. Diversity is the key to a healthy forest garden. In nature, you'll find a multitude of different species coexisting, each contributing something valuable to the ecosystem. Your garden should reflect this biodiversity. Consider plants that are native to your area, as they're adapted to local conditions and often require less maintenance. Some plants, known as pioneer plants, are exceptionally good at improving soil quality and providing shelter for more delicate species. Comfrey and clover, for instance, draw up nutrients from deep in the soil, enriching the top layers. And let's not forget about the insects and birds. Choose plants that will attract these helpful creatures. They'll pollinate your plants, control pests, and add another layer of life to your garden. Step 3. Preparing the soil. Healthy soil is the foundation of a successful forest garden. Start by testing your soil to understand its composition and pH level. Some plants prefer acidic soil, while others favor alkaline conditions. Next, consider methods to improve your soil's fertility. Composting is an excellent way to recycle kitchen and garden waste into nutrient-rich soil. Mulching helps to retain moisture, suppress weeds, and gradually improve soil structure. Remember, in a forest garden, we aim to disturb the soil as little as possible. Unlike conventional gardening, where soil is regularly dug over, we want to mimic nature's way of building soil from the top down with decaying organic matter. Step 4. Planting. Now comes the exciting part. Start with your canopy layer, the tallest trees, and work your way down. This way you avoid damaging smaller plants while planting the larger ones. Be patient. It may take several years for your forest garden to fully establish, but remember, we're creating a sustainable system that will provide for many years to come. Step 5. Maintaining. Once your plants are in the ground, the journey is far from over. Forest gardening is not a set-and-forget method. It requires observation and interaction. You'll need to water and mulch your young plants until they are established. Even then, during dry periods, they may need a little extra care. Pruning helps to maintain the health and shape of your trees and shrubs. Composting returns nutrients to the soil and encourages beneficial soil life. And finally, learn to embrace the unexpected. Nature doesn't follow a strict plan, and neither should your forest garden. If a plant doesn't thrive where you first placed it, don't be afraid to move it. If an unplanned plant appears and fits into the system, let it stay. Remember, a forest garden is a dynamic, evolving ecosystem. It's not about control, but about collaboration with nature. With patience, knowledge, and a bit of sweat, you too can create a thriving, self-sustaining forest garden. From barren land to bountiful gardens, these are the stories of forest gardening. Let's start with a tale from the heartland, where a retired couple decided to transform their 2-acre plot into a lush forest garden. Picture this, a stretch of empty grassland, devoid of life and excitement. The couple, inspired by their love for nature and a desire to do something meaningful in their retirement, decided to create a forest garden. They started with a few fruit and nut trees, gradually adding shrubs, herbs, and ground cover plants. Today, their once barren land is a thriving ecosystem, providing food and habitat for local wildlife and a bounty of fresh, organic produce for their family and community. Moving on to the West Coast, we find the story of a young woman, a city dweller, who transformed her small urban backyard into a mini forest garden. She started with just a few potted plants, slowly adding layers of vegetation, maximizing the use of vertical space. The result? A green oasis in the concrete jungle, a sanctuary for bees and butterflies, and a source of fresh herbs and fruits for her daily meals. Our next story takes us to a primary school in the Midwest where a passionate teacher introduced the concept of forest gardening to her students. With the help of the entire school community, they transformed an unused patch of school grounds into a vibrant forest garden. This living classroom now serves as a hands-on learning environment where children learn about nature, biodiversity, and sustainability. Plus, they get to enjoy the fruits of their labor, literally. Now let's cross the Atlantic to rural England, where a farmer turned his monoculture fields into a diverse forest garden filled with fruit trees, berries, and perennial vegetables. Tired of the damage caused by conventional farming practices, he decided to switch to forest gardening. Today, his farm is a model of sustainable agriculture, producing a variety of crops while enhancing biodiversity and soil health. Lastly, we journey to the tropics, where a community came together to transform a deforested hillside into a lush forest garden. They started with terracing the hillside and planting a variety of fruit trees and other useful plants. Over time, the garden has not only helped to prevent soil erosion and restore biodiversity, but it also provides a sustainable source of food and income for the local community. These stories illustrate the transformative power of forest gardening. It's not merely about growing food, it's about creating a living, breathing ecosystem that nourishes the land, wildlife, and people. It's about rekindling our connection with nature, understanding our role as custodians of the earth, and realizing the potential we have to create positive change. These gardens are not just the result of hard work and dedication. They are a testament to the resilience of nature and the incredible biodiversity that can flourish when we work with, rather than against, the natural world. Each garden is a unique microcosm, reflecting the local climate, soil, and biodiversity, and the individual creativity and ingenuity of the gardener. But perhaps the most beautiful part of these stories is that they are not exceptional. They are within reach of anyone, anywhere, who has a patch of land and a desire to make a difference. Whether you have a sprawling countryside or a tiny urban backyard, you too can create your own forest garden. From the retired couple in the heartland to the city dweller on the West Coast, from the school teacher in the Midwest to the farmer in England, and the community in the tropics, these stories are a testament to the power of forest gardening. They show that we can transform our landscapes, our communities, and our world, one garden at a time. So, what's stopping you? Start planting your forest garden today. Let's cultivate a greener, healthier, and more sustainable world together. These are not just gardens, they are a testament to the power of nature and the potential within each of us. Forest gardening, a movement that starts in your backyard. A quiet revolution that begins with a single seed and grows into an ecosystem capable of nourishing not just us, but the world around us. Imagine the possibilities of having a sustainable source of food right outside your door, while also providing a sanctuary for biodiversity, a haven for creatures big and small. Forest gardening isn't just about growing food, it's about growing a future. It's about creating a world where we can live in harmony with nature rather than against it. A world where our actions contribute to the health of the planet rather than detract from it. Remember, forest gardens don't just mimic natural ecosystems, they are natural ecosystems. They are living, breathing embodiments of sustainability and resilience. They are proof that we can create a more secure food future, that we can foster biodiversity, and that we can help mitigate the impacts of climate change. But the beauty of forest gardening is that it's not an abstract concept. It's a practical, tangible solution that we can all be a part of. It's a movement that starts with you, with me, with all of us. Start your forest garden today and be a part of the change. Let's cultivate a healthier planet, one garden at a time.